All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. So, good evening to those of you in person and those of you online. My name is Dr. James Driscoll, and I'm a superintendent here for TD3. Tonight, I want to talk to you about transportation and give you kind of some current realities that we're experiencing and get some answers or solutions to some of our problems that we're experiencing. If you're online, what I would ask for you to do, if you have any comments, if you would email at info@tempeschools.org. If you're here in person, on your desk, we have comment cards. If you will write your comment there, they will bring it up to me and I will read it so the people online can hear the question, and vice versa, the people online. When you put out a comment online, they will bring it to me and I'll read that so the people here can hear that as well. Our goal today is just to explain to you our why we're here, and to get solutions to a problem. No decision has been made at this time, but we're going to have to make some decisions coming forth. And so we want to make sure that you have your chance to give input so that we can make the best decision possible. So last year, right around February, our director of transportation came to the board and presented on our current state of our transportation department. At the time, I had asked her to give the board a report of what we're currently experiencing, because we were short bus drivers. And at that time, we had a school that we had to send home a letter to say, hey, we weren't unable to pick up your child due to our bus driver shortage. And so that prompted her to come up with some proposals of how we could achieve our goal, which is to get our students to school safely with our current staffing that we have. And so the next slide I'll show you was the proposal that she proposed to our board. And I want to make sure that the people at home know this only affects schools that have buses that transport our students to and from. So currently in our district, 60% of our students utilize transportation as their means to get to and from school. And so all the recommendations that we made are for schools who actually have transportation. So every day we start off the morning already 10 bus drivers short. So every day when we come to work in the morning, we already know that we're 10 bus drivers short than what we need for that day. In addition to that, we have absences. And on a daily average, we have about 8 bus driver absences a day, which then forces us to have our office staff. So our director of transportation, all the people that work in that office, they have to drive buses for us in order for us to get our students to and from school safely. Now, as you can imagine, if there's a problem that happens during that time, we really don't have anybody in the office to address that because they're out driving, which causes more stress to our system. Our current reality is we have 3, and I want to say if I'm saying this correct, 3 time slots that we deliver students to school. So we have a 7:50, then we have a middle, and then our middle school is the 8:20 is our last time slot. Am I saying that correct? Okay. I'm looking over there to make sure I'm saying that information correct. In between that, we have about a 30-minute window that our bus drivers have to do those routes. So if you think about it, driver 1 goes to that first bus route to deliver kids to our 750 schools. Where we're short those 10 bus drivers, they would normally do that middle route, and then our driver 1 would do that third route. And so one of the proposals that we have is how can we do these routes, have all our students get picked up without having 10 bus drivers, because we currently have not been able to fill those roles. The proposal was this. So we have more schools that are elementary that are at the 7:50 time slot, but these 3 schools currently sit at a start time at 9 o'clock. What the proposal would be is that we would shift these schools from 9 o'clock to 7:50. We then would go to our middle schools, which we're here today. Middle school currently starts at 8:20. We would shift the middle school start time back to 8:40, which would then create a 50-minute time span for us to do the routes. What happens there is now we only need 1 bus driver to do the route for our elementary and our middle school, which would eliminate that 10 bus driver shortage that we have. We wouldn't no longer need those 10 bus drivers. It also would alleviate us needing, if we have our 8 daily absences, we have people in our office that could pick up those absences. So it would make us more efficient in terms of that, and we can do what we want in terms of guaranteeing that our students can arrive to school safely, and we would have insurance for that. So I'm going to pause there so you guys can digest. So what the proposal was move these 3 elementary schools from 9 o'clock start time to a 7:50, and our middle schools from an 8:20 start time to an 8:40 a.m. start time. So middle schools would be impacted by 20 minutes. All the middle schools. Any questions online about that? Okay. So the big question I get all the time, and I want to say, if I count, this is the 5th of these. We have 2 more this week, so I'll meet with McCamey and Fees tomorrow and Friday, respectively. But one of the questions we get is why? Why are we doing this? And so what I tell people all the time is 60% of our kids, so about 6,000 of our students, utilize transportation to get to and from school. The main objective of a school district, of a school, is to keep our kids safe. We, in our current state, cannot truly ensure that we can pick up your kid. We hope, if everybody comes to work, that we can. But right now, we're running so tight, there's no way that we can truly ensure that we're going to pick up your kid. This year alone, we had a situation, and I shared this with staff earlier today. We had some kindergartners that came outside and said, hey, we're going on a field trip to the zoo. They came outside waiting for the bus. 10 minutes later, hey, are we going to the zoo? 20 minutes later passed, and they got a notification that, hey, we don't have bus drivers to be able to drive you to the zoo. The number one thing for a school is to make sure we can ensure our kids they're safe, and we have parents that depend on us. Now, both of these solutions, again, whether we change our bell time or whether we do nothing and keep our current, there are pros and cons to both. So what I would tell you, the pro to keeping it the same is everybody in our system knows what it is. Nothing would change the reality. We wouldn't have any daycare or any other needs that staff or parents have because it would stay the same. The con to that is I can't guarantee you that we'll be able to pick up your kids on time when we say we would. And also, I can't guarantee you that we might not lose more bus drivers in the next year. And that would even cause more stress. The pro to this is with our current reality, we have the staff to be able to cover, even if we lose bus drivers, we have the staff that can cover those routes and make sure we can get kids to and from school safely. The con, if you're an elementary school, you're going to start about an hour and 10 minutes earlier. And if you're a middle school, you're going to start 20 minutes later. And that will have some impacts on families as well as our staff. Some of our staff and some of our families choose the schools they're going to for that particular time because it works for them. It either works for their work or it works for their daycare situation. It works, and that's why they choose that. By changing this time, we know one of the consequences could be is we could lose some families. Now, we're in the retention business. We don't want to lose any kids. But we also have to make sure we balance that with, can we do what we say we're going to do, which means can we pick you up at the time we say we're going to pick you up, and can we drop you off at the time we say we're going to drop you off? Now, if you have middle schoolers who ride the bus here, I would imagine that there's been days, if not even days this week, where they either got picked up late or dropped off late. That is the current reality we have because we don't have enough staffing to be able to do that. So one of our hopes is by doing this, people will come out, and those 2 million people online right now watching me will say, hey, I want to sign up to be a bus driver. And if we get at least 10 of them, I don't have to do this. We can keep it the same. But I would tell you last year, we did the same presentation and it hasn't changed. And it's not a TD3 problem itself. If you walk around or go around any city in our county, you probably see them with school districts saying, hey, bus drivers want it. If you go nationally, you see it. Bus drivers want it. So this is not just a TD3. This is a nationwide issue. And so the solutions that we have are just that. They're solutions to the problem, but nothing has been made. No decision, no determination has been made. We want to come to you to get your opinions, your feedback, so that when I present this to the governing board on Wednesday, I can say, here's what the community is saying, here's what our teachers are saying, here's what our parents, here's what our stakeholders are saying about these possible changes, and then they can make the ultimate decision whether we stay the course and stay the same or whether we make changes based on these recommendations. So with that, I'll pause and see if there's any comments online. Any comments here? I give that wait time. Just make sure. Well, if you're watching or you're here, I just want to make sure we're clear that no decision has been made. So I don't want you to walk out of here and say, oh, they're changing the bell times. No, we're not. We're just providing our community, our people with, here's some possible options that we will have to consider in order for us to be able to ensure that we can get students to school safely. We know that there is no win situation because there are pros for this and there are cons against this. There are pros for keeping our schedule exactly the same, and there are cons against that. So we know it's a no-win situation. What we want to do is make sure our community is educated. So whatever decision is made, we can communicate with our community, whether that's to keep it the same, and we can say, hey, we're keeping our bell schedule the same, but know that we might be late to pick up your kid, and we might be late dropping them off. And there might be some times where we can't pick up your kid. Or if we change this, hey, we know that that might have a hindrance on you in choosing our schools, and that you might need to make other options for your school, which we don't want you to do. We want you to stay, but we understand that. We just want the board to have all the information possible to make the best decision. So if you did not feel like raising your hand or commenting, what you can do is you can email us again at info@tempeschools.org. If you're here in person, you can fill out a comment card and you can put it in this blue box up here. All the comments we get from the community, we will give to the governing board so they will see those comments before they make any decision. So they will have all that information. I also will share with the board any common themes that we're seeing in the comments to say, hey, this is what the community are saying. A large part of our community are saying that they like it or don't like it, and these are the reasons why. We will share that all with the board. And as one board member said in another meeting, I said it about 1 million times, so I want to be consistent that I say it is a board decision. And so if that board member is on, I said it again, it is a board decision. But ultimately, the why is we need to make sure we can get kids safe to school. And for 60% of our students, that is through transportation. And I do not want to write a letter to a family saying, hey, you dropped your kindergarten off at the bus stop. You were expecting to be picked up. And 30 minutes later, we send you an email saying we did not pick up that kindergartner. And you have no idea where that kindergartner is and how they got home because we don't have cameras at our bus stops. We don't have any supervision there. I don't want to send that letter home. So with that, I'll end unless there's any questions online or we have questions here. Yes, we got a comment.
I just have a comment or a question. I don't know how you could take it and
Okay.
see if you can.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So the question is, all elementary. So yes, in this proposed model, all elementary schools that have transportation, that utilize transportation, they would start at the same time at 7:50. And with our current model here, the bus drivers would be able to take all those students and then go and do our middle school students route. So that is correct. Yep.
If you have enough drivers.
And we have it, and yeah, this is based. So we have enough drivers currently. Right now, with our current driver allocation, we can do this model. Yep. So, and that was part of why I tasked our transportation department to come up with this. This is our current reality. Can we do it with our current?
Thank you.
No problem. Any others online? Person? All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to be here. I hope. Oh, we got a new person. You got it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us online and in person. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And again, no decision has been made. We need comments from you to give us all the input we need so we can give the governing board that feedback. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much.